Well, they warn it's a new threat from Iran. Its military saying it has deployed a so-called suicide drone for the first time during military drills near the strategic Strait of Hormuz. A top military Iranian commander describing it as a, quote, mobile bomb that's designed to strike at air, ground, and naval targets. It can hit them 1,000 miles away from Tehran. So, what does this possible new threat mean to us? Ambassador John Bolton is a former United States ambassador to the United Nations and a Fox News contributor. Ambassador, always good to see you. You know, it seems this new drone, I mean, they claim it can carry 8 warheads, stay aloft for 10 hours, fly 1,000 miles. Does that mean it could potentially hit our assets, our U.S. troops who are in the Middle East?
Well, I think, obviously, as we've discussed many times, you take everything Iran says with several grains of salt. But it's also a mistake to underestimate their capabilities. They've been fascinated with drone technology. They claim downed or may simply have gotten American drones that had mechanical failures. They've worked with China and Russia on these technologies over the years, and they're very sophisticated when it comes to aerospace and defense kinds of technologies. They've had tens of thousands of graduate students in the United States studying physics and math over the years. So I wouldn't, even though I don't believe it just because they say it, I wouldn't underestimate their aspirations.
You just said something, I'm sorry to interrupt you. Should we let tens of thousands of Iranian students, I mean, they may be fine people, should we let them study in our country and take that back to Tehran?
No, I was at the Justice Department at the end of the Reagan administration when an FBI agent came to talk to me about this problem. I was stunned then, and I think while we've cut back over the years, a lot of Iranians have graduate degrees from prestigious American universities, so it's important not to forget that. But I think what Iran wants with this is a capability to act against our forces in what they call the Persian Gulf and against the Arab states on the other side of the Gulf, as well potentially against Israel, using not just conventional weapons, but biological and chemical weapons as well.
They claim they have captured like 3 what is called Scan Eagles. Those are our potential drones. Remember back in May? We'll take a look. They had this drone. They trotted it out at a news conference, claimed they had this new fancy drone. And you're right. They say it was a fake. That it's just, balsa wood and some Elmer's glue and some spit and some Band-Aids put together. I mean, should we be afraid of them? You got the nuclear program going full tilt. The nuclear talks have been delayed till June. It seems nothing is stopping them from potentially building a real nuclear bomb.
No, I think they're well on the way to that. And in terms of the drone technology, stealth technology, it may be that they're not exploiting it all themselves. American drones have gone down inside Iran, whether shot down or because of mechanical failure. I have no doubt that Iran has given the pieces of the drones to China and Russia for them to reverse engineer, and that Iran has gotten the product of that perhaps in either their own drone technology or actually purchase of drones from China and others. We know that Iran has a very active program of cooperation with North Korea on ballistic missiles. Who knows, maybe in the cyber warfare area as well. Iran's exploring every option it can to use against the United States, against Israel, and against our Arab friends in the region.
Talk about ballistic missiles. It's stunning that those aren't even a part of the ongoing nuclear negotiations. And earlier today, Lindsey Graham said that there will be a vote on sanctions against Iran in the Senate in January. Do you think that will deter Iran's behavior at all?
Well, I think it's important because any economic sanctions that are effectively enforced do put pressure on the regime, and the long-term answer here is to get rid of the Ayatollahs. Unfortunately, there's no evidence that the sanctions have actually slowed down either the nuclear weapons program or the ballistic missile program, but I think it's an important political signal, and it shows America is not united behind President Obama's diplomacy, which I think is on the verge of a very, very bad deal that will legitimize Iran's nuclear weapons program.
And finally, here's what Maryam Rajavi, the head of the Iranian opposition, the National Council of Resistance of Iran, is saying about Tehran and their behavior. Quote, in the name of Islam, the mullahs splash acid on women's faces, hang the youth, and incarcerate Christian converts, violating their most basic rights in Iran. They torture and execute people for their religious beliefs. They have established a bloodthirsty religious tyranny, which is the epicenter of fundamentalism and terrorism under the banner of Islam and the godfather of those who today murder innocent captives and hostages Ambassador, can Tehran's behavior really be changed?
Well, I don't think this regime's behavior can be changed. I think that's why Maryam Rajavi and many others in the Iranian resistance are determined to try and overthrow it. I think the United States should be helping the resistance in many ways because ultimately that's the only long-term answer.
Ambassador John Bolton, always good to see you, and we see you as usual tomorrow on America's News Headquarters at 12 noon Eastern Time. Have a good night.
Thank you, Eric.
Of course.